All right, guys, Chase here, Trevor, and with the new business name, eXp Realty and the Cromwell Home Group. Today we just kind of wanted to talk to you guys about how you can take advantage of today's current market as a buyer, a seller, or even a current homeowner. You start first, what?
Well, so if you're a buyer, how are you gonna take advantage of the market today?
For me?
Yeah.
Obviously hiring a good agent, number one, is super important, but I would say number two is having patience and finding, for me, I always think of real estate as an investment, not just a home. Of course, I love my home, but for me, everything's about opportunity. And so living in East County, my opportunity out here is to find homes with bigger properties, allowing me to build a second dwelling or ADU on it.
And why would you do that instead of buying another door?
Well, San Diego, a second door in San Diego would probably cost you anywhere from $250,000 to $500,000. You're gonna have a mortgage on it, more than likely. That's gonna take up most of your rental profits.
Yeah.
Where I could build, if I could save up and put enough cash away, I could build a granny flat or an ADU for $200,000, and it'll give me a 1,250 square foot ADU, and I
that's
can.
the max, right?
Yeah, that's the max in San Diego. That'll get me $2,500 to $2,700 a month, clear.
Yeah, out here in East County, or
Yeah.
No,
So
that's
for me, like taking advantage of the market as a buyer in East County, which is where we're experts at, is finding something that is big enough, especially with San Diego, like loosening up on all their permit fees as long as you use their design.
that's what I was going to ask you. Is the county still waiving the permit fees for granny flats?
Yeah, as far as I know, and even you guys might want to check into it. There's some other laws that have passed in San Diego recently about the housing shortage crisis right now. They're trying to allow homeowners to build more than 2 units on their properties legally, whereas right now you can only do 2 detached homes and a 3rd unit that is attached to the home, which is called a JADU. Either way, I'm constantly thinking as a buyer to take advantage of this market is 1, be patient, and 2, find something big enough and or cheap enough where I can build a second dwelling to make some money on it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know?
And I think Amanda Brown actually just sent us a good email. I think it's SB9 and SB10.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, so if you have any questions regarding that, reach out to Amanda Brown at First American Title. She actually sent us a pretty informative email on that.
Yeah, SB9, SB10, that's the one that we're talking about where you can have multiple units on one property. I don't know enough about it to share any more information, but other ways at taking advantage of this market, you don't have to be just a buyer. Actually, as another buyer, what we didn't mention is how low freaking interest rates are.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, my house, my interest rate is 3.6%. I still haven't refied yet, but I know as a new buyer, you can get under 3% in your interest on a 30-year fixed loan. As long as you have good credit, they obviously take into consideration all those things.
Yeah.
But as a seller now, I mean, how would you take advantage of this as a seller?
Well, again, it's, first off, you want to hire a good agent, whether that be us or somebody else you know. You want to take advantage of the market right now because it's still so high and inventory is really low still. It has increased a little bit over the past couple of months. From what I've seen, houses are sitting a little bit longer than they were. You're not getting 30 offers and you're not getting 20 showings a day, but the volume still is there. So be patient and wait to get that right offer to come in and maximize your profits on the property.
Yeah, for sure. So for me, we sell East County. So we have a completely different marketplace than the rest of San Diego. So oftentimes I get sellers that come to me and they're like, oh, my best friend just got 100 offers on their house and they sold $300,000 over asking. I'm like, first of all, where do they live? Second of all, what does their house look like? Out here in East County, we have a lot longer market period. All right, like I just put a house into escrow up here in Alpine. It was listed at 1.489 and it was only on the market for 12 days, so it's not that long, you guys. Like in this market, average market time is about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I got this thing under contract for almost $100,000 lower than what it was listed for. So this is completely opposite of what you're hearing. from some sellers or your neighbors or your friends. It really depends on your market area. So if you need to know more about your neighborhood, you contact us and we let you know like what the reality is of selling your house, how many offers do we think we can get you, and how much over asking. It honestly depends on how much you're willing to work with us and how aggressive can we get with our pricing strategy. Okay, let's go back to being a current homeowner and how we could take advantage of this market. For me, obviously if you have purchased your house in the last 5 years or even since 2007, there's gonna be some equity in your house. With interest rates being so low, you can still do a cash out refi, even on a jumbo loan. I'm doing it right now, you guys. I have currently a 3.6%. I could do a cash out refi right now in my house and get a 3.0 or a 2.99 at a 30-year fixed, okay? So cheap. I'm getting a lower interest rate. I'm able to pull money out of my house, equity out of my house. It's gonna bring so the difference between the interest rates, my payment's only gonna go up for the amount that I am pulling out, a couple $100, which that's okay because it's in my budget, which means I can afford it. I'm gonna be able to take this fat chunk of money that I'm pulling out of my house, this equity, and I can go buy another investment property, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do.
And that's gonna cover the couple $100 at least a month.
Exactly. So whatever money that I'm gonna be making off this second investment property, it's gonna pay for the difference of my mortgage and probably put more money in my pocket. And then on top of that, it's gonna be a retirement fund for me. So it might be a 30-year fixed.
Well, and that's just one thing, one option you have of doing a cash out refi. You could also pull out some money and remodel your home, and you can enjoy it while you're living there. You don't have to come up with 40, 50, 70 grand to remodel your entire home, and enjoy it while you're living there.
Yeah, I'm not gonna tell you what to do with your money, but oftentimes I've seen, and I have seen this in the past more so than now, people made mistakes like pulling fat amounts of equity out of their house, and they're buying material things that depreciate in value really quick. Toys, motorhomes, trailers. Like, you do what you want, but that's not the smartest thing to do with your equity that you have in your house. I would try and reinvest it into something that's gonna accrue more money and more value. So real estate obviously is number one, and that's why I would choose that direction. So
I agree.
Other than that, like, everybody has an opportunity in this market, whether you're a buyer, you're a seller, or a current homeowner. Save your bucks. We don't know what's happening. I don't have a crystal ball.
That's a question we get asked a lot. And the market's staying strong and the trends look strong for the next remainder of the year and going into next year. So
yeah, for sure. So don't worry about yesterday, don't worry about tomorrow, worry about today. I'm pretty sure everything's gonna be okay for some time to come. So
but take advantage of those interest rates while they're low.
100%. And real estate is always gonna be your number one source of investments. We do recommend a diversified portfolio, but of course, the gold at the end of the rainbow obviously always comes from real estate in my eyes, not because it's my profession, but because we have seen the dividends come through. We've seen our clients make dividends in quick return, actually. So always keep that in mind. Don't be scared. Like, think about it. Like, the hardest thing to do is typically the right thing to do. And it's always the scariest thing to do. Obviously, leaving Berkshire for us was really hard. We went to EXP, but we feel like this was the best decision for us. So we ripped the Band-Aid off, we did it, and now here we are. So
we'll explain more of that later.
Yeah, we have more to talk about with that. So thank you guys for tuning in, following us, and reach out to either one of us if you guys need some help.
See you soon.